Last spring, I took a lawn that had been going backwards on me for 3 seasons straight and pulled it into the darkest, thickest green I had seen on that property in over a decade. The part that got my attention was not just the result, it was the price. The tonic that turned it around cost me under $4 to mix, and that hit hard because I had already done the other thing for years. Bag after bag, spring program, label directions, the whole routine. I would get a quick flush of green, maybe 10 days where the yard looked like it was finally coming around, and then it would fade right back to that tired, washed-out color that makes a lawn feel older than it is. More money, more product, same weak cycle. What changed it was not some premium turf product. It was an older, soil-first lawn tonic built on a way of thinking most homeowners never get taught anymore. I'm going to give you the full mix, the full dilution, the timing, the mistakes that ruin it, and one last add-on near the end that takes the color from regular green to that darker, finished look people usually assume came out of a much more expensive program. But before I get to the recipe, you need one shift in your head first, because once this clicks, the whole lawn game makes more sense. You are not just feeding grass blades, you are managing a living strip of soil. That matters because grass does not magically absorb every nutrient in every form you throw at it. Soil microbes help break residues down and recycle nutrients, and plants take nitrogen up mainly in inorganic forms such as nitrate and ammonium. In other words, the life in that root zone is part of the feeding system, whether most homeowners think about it or not. That is why so many lawns look good for a minute and disappointing the rest of the month. A fast shot of soluble fertilizer can absolutely green a lawn up. Nobody needs to pretend otherwise, but color alone is a shallow win. It does not automatically mean the soil is holding moisture better, the root zone is more resilient, or the lawn is becoming less dependent on the next application. Michigan State notes that organic sources must be mineralized by microorganisms before nutrients become available, and that less soluble organic sources are tied to lower salt injury. That is a very different picture from chasing surface color alone. That was the mindset shift for me. Stop trying to push the lawn from the top down every single time it looks tired. Start helping the system underneath carry more of the load. And once I saw it that way, an older line of lawn care thinking started sounding a lot less quirky and a lot more logical. A lot changed after industrial ammonia synthesis took off in the early 20th century. The Haber-Bosch process made large-scale ammonia production possible, and fertilizer nitrogen became a foundational part of modern agriculture. That mattered enormously. It helped feed the world, but it also trained generations of people to think that if a patch of ground looked weak, the first answer had to come from a bag. Older extension-era lawn, wisdom, and practical groundskeeping often treated turf less like a surface to paint green and more like a system to keep active from the soil up. So here's the tonic. Into a clean gallon jug, add 1 cup of cheap beer, 1 cup of blackstrap molasses, 1 cup of plain clear household ammonia, and 1 cup of plain liquid dish soap. No lemon scent. No antibacterial version. No fancy add-ins. Plain ingredients. Each part has a job. The beer and molasses bring easy sugars and fermentation leftovers into the mix. The ammonia gives you a small nitrogen input. The soap works as the spreader. Surfactants and wetting agents reduce surface tension, so a spray can spread and wet the target more evenly, which is exactly the role that last ingredient is playing here. Now, I want to be straight with you on one thing. The power of this tonic is not that any one ingredient is magical. The power is the combination, the dilution, and the way it fits into a better lawn rhythm. If you hear ammonia and decide to get aggressive, you will scorch something. If you hear homemade and assume more is better, you will create your own problem. So let's do the part most people rush through and then regret. Use a hose end sprayer. Pour 1 cup of the concentrate into the jar. 1 cup. Not half the jug because you feel ambitious. Not a double batch because the lawn looks rough. 1 cup in the sprayer, then let the hose do the dilution work across the lawn. The basic target is light, even coverage over roughly 2,500 square feet. Think of it like painting a wall. Smooth passes, steady pace, no lingering in one strip because you got distracted. Timing matters too. Early morning is the cleanest window. Ohio State recommends watering lawns deeply in the morning, and Michigan State also warns that evening watering leaves turf wet longer and raises disease pressure. Morning gives the lawn time to take the moisture in and dry back down properly. So, spray in the morning, then water it in lightly. You are not trying to flush it through the soil, you are just helping move the tonic off the blades and into the upper root zone where the lawn actually lives. And do not expect fake overnight drama. The first thing you usually notice is color. Then the lawn starts looking more even. Then the feel changes, less stringy, less weak underfoot, more body to it. That timing also lines up with how cool-season turf actually grows. Ohio State notes that roots grow well when soil temperatures sit between about 40 and 65 degrees, and Penn State and Michigan State put the best root growth range for cool-season turf around 50 to 65 degrees. That is the sweet spot where a lawn can respond like a lawn instead of just surviving. Once the lawn is in active growth, give it the tonic every 3 weeks. Not every other day. Not whenever guilt hits you. Every 3 weeks, through the main growing stretch, is a solid rhythm. Now, let me widen the frame, because this is where a lot of people quietly sabotage good progress. First mistake. They keep treating the lawn like a color emergency. If the whole plan is buy something green-making every time the yard looks off, the lawn never really settles into strength. It just keeps reacting. And that gets expensive fast. That is why the under $4 angle matters so much. It is not just cheap. It breaks the reflex that every improvement has to come with another expensive bag in the cart. Second mistake, shallow, nervous watering. A struggling lawn makes people panic, so they hit it with short daily watering and wonder why it still wilts fast. Ohio State's lawn calendar recommends watering deeply, about 1 inch, early in the morning when rainfall is short, enough to wet the soil several inches deep. Michigan State makes the same larger point in plainer language. Lawns do not need multiple waterings a day. Deep, sane watering builds a steadier lawn than constant little sips. Third mistake, mowing too low because it looks tidy for 5 minutes. That one costs people more than they realize. Michigan State says lawns mowed at 3.5 to 4 inches outcompete weeds, tolerate grubs better, and build a denser stand than lawns cut short. Taller turf shades the soil surface, cuts down water loss, and protects the system you are trying to improve. Fourth mistake, bagging clippings like they are garbage. They are not garbage, they are nutrient return. Ohio State says grass clippings left on the lawn can provide up to 30% of a lawn's seasonal nitrogen needs and do not create thatch problems when managed properly. That is free fertility already sitting in your mower deck. Keep it in play. Now for the finishing move I told you I'd save for later. Iron. This is where a lawn stops looking merely healthier and starts looking finished. Penn State notes that turf managers use iron to enhance color without stimulating excessive leaf growth. That distinction matters. Nitrogen pushes growth. Iron sharpens color. So, if the lawn is already improving and you want that richer, darker, almost polished green, a small amount of liquid chelated iron added at label rate about once a month during active growth can make a visible difference without turning your mowing schedule into a punishment. That is the part a lot of homeowners miss. They keep trying to get color and quality from the same lever. It does not work that way. Build the lawn with better feeding, better mowing, better watering, and better organic return. Then use iron as the color finishing tool. And if weeds are the second half of your headache, which they usually are, that is exactly why I put together Larry's 3-0 day weed kill protocol. Because a thick lawn helps, but it does not answer everything. You still need the timing. You still need to know what is coming up in your zone. You still need to know when to stop guessing and act with a plan. Inside that guide, I break down the 7 common weeds most homeowners keep fighting, the pre-emergent and post-emergent timing that actually matters, and the seasonal calendar that keeps you from wasting money on the wrong move at the wrong moment. It is normally $47, and right now it's $17 through the link in the description. So here's the bigger idea. You do not need a lawn that looks artificially good for 10 days and needy for the next 20. You want a lawn that holds together better because the soil underneath is doing more of its job. That is why this old tonic is interesting. It is cheap, it is simple, and it pushes you into a better lawn philosophy at the same time. Under $4 to mix, a visible shift in a matter of weeks, better color first, better body after that. Less dependence on the next rescue bag. Try it through one real stretch of the growing season and pay attention to the right things. Watch the color. Watch the density. Watch how the lawn feels under your feet. Then tell me whether it still behaves like a surface you have to keep rescuing, or whether it finally starts acting like a system that can carry itself a lot better.